Hi, my name's Lindsay Cunningham and I'm back in my studio. It has been about 2 years since I posted my original video on how to work with a skull cap, which I do manufacture. My company name is Spotlight Fashions, and here is one of the types of skull caps that I manufacture. But I've had a lot of people ask me, how can I build a foundation to add trims or feathers or flowers or something like that too. So today I'm going to give you a few ideas from expensive to dirt cheap. So the most professional way and expensive way is to have a welder weld you a frame. Now I have one here. I had someone weld this for me, and it would fit on the skull cap like this. And you notice that I have little U-shapes that are used to actually sew it to the cap. And if you're having it custom made, you can give them the skull cap and have them shape it where it fits exactly. Now this is a 23 and a half, and I had this made to fit around a 22 and a half. So that's why it doesn't sit all the way down. But you could do shapes like this, or you could do a rounded shape. You just cover the frame with fabric or with buckram, and then you can mount your trims and things to it. But you could also do small, little odd shapes. That's a base for something, for feathers or something good and solid. Or you can do little shapes like that. They don't have to be big. Now, you can also, kind of a cheaper way to do it is sometimes I will use tomato frames. Now they're metal, they're soldered, and you can cut them with pliers, and this would just sit and you would have like a single post to mount whatever you wanted to mount, probably feathers. Or you could cut it to where you had a double post, and you see I have it where it can mount on. And of course you can bend the wire and shape it where it fits the shape of the cap. Now this works great if you've got something really big, real wide, or if you're doing like an alien with antenna or bugs, butterflies, something like that. This is great for that. Now another thing that you can do, go to the hardware store. You can find all kinds of things there that are usable, but one of the things I do are PVC pipes. Now this is a joint. You can buy the pipe, and I drill holes. As you can see, I've got little holes drilled. Now you can sew that right to the cap, which is what I've done here, and it's attached. And then you just cover it with the fabric that you've covered your cap with, and then you can put your trims, and you can put feathers in it, or you can glue feathers around the outside if you need it to be even bigger. And you can also, if you want to make it taller, you can buy the pipes and actually put the, cut them to length and put the pipe in there. Now another thing that you can do is save the cones from your thread. It would be free because it's like a throwaway. I used a kind of like a little soldering iron, and I pierced holes. But you could also, I've done it with a drill. This I did with a drill, and I just drilled the hole. And but this particular one I did do with the heat gun. Now another thing you can do is not just the hardware store, but you can also do dollar store. So I went to 2 different dollar stores, one in Seattle near where I live, and one in Portland. Now in Seattle, I found what they are calling a paper towel holder. It's $1, and you can mount it. Now it is wire so that you can cut it, bend it. For me, it's a little long, so I would cut it and bend it, reshape it. And it's fairly sturdy if you're doing just some feathers or something light. Now in Portland, I found it's basically the same thing. It's a paper towel holder, but it's stronger. It's a heavier metal. It's still this tall. It's made by the same company and it's the same height, but there's more structure to the base of it too, and it is a much heavier wire. Now, what I would do, you could either mount this, because you see there's 2 rings of metal. You could sew down here, and then you have this to attach trims. You could hang beads from it, or you could even cover it with fabric to give it this rounded shape and then pull it down onto the cap, and it would be kind of interesting looking. But another thing that you could do if you didn't want this is you could cut some of this off, bend this to shape it down towards the hat, and then stitch, save a little on each side. There's a support bracket. Save a little on each side, and then you can use that to stitch onto the cap as well as your center frame. Now, another thing is I also went to a thrift store, and I just happened to be looking around, and I found this. Now, it was only about $3, I think $2.50, $3. You gotta add tax. And it can sit this way, or you could even do it that way if you wanted. Feathers could come out. Now, this is very, very heavy, and it's welded really well. It would be much more difficult to try to cut or reshape this, so I would use it the way it is and do either that or that. But it is actually a stand to put a chicken on to cook it in your oven. You would just put your chicken down on it and set it on a tray and put it in the oven. Now, I think these things normally run about $15 or $20 if you are buying them retail, new. But since I wasn't going to be cooking with it, and I just bought it as a sample to show you, I didn't care it came from a thrift store. You can always put it in the dishwasher and run it through the cycle and have it all washed and clean. So that's all I have to help you. Hopefully you can find some things on your own. Now, like I said, you can use buckram, or you could even get sheet plastic and attach it to your frames. You can sew. I prefer sewing things, but there are times when you do have to glue. There's different types of glue. Hot glue is my least favorite glue, but there are times where I do use it, but I use it sparingly, and I make sure that I don't let it spider web and I don't let it glop up. I only use the amount that it takes to attach whatever I'm doing. And I do not like hot glue if you're doing a lining or like fabric. It's great if you're gluing a feather on or a bead or a rhinestone or something, but for fabric, I would prefer sewing it by hand or on a machine, so that if you need to, you can strip it off. Like if you're doing a rehab, you can strip it off. You don't have all that glue caked on the inside, because you would have to glue the inside. And also that glue on the inside, if you use too much, it can wind up being gloppy and thick and hard, and when the person puts it on their head, it can stick into their head. So glue is not the best thing for the inside, but I have seen people glue it, and if you're really careful, it can work. But a lot of the other people use basically like the fabric glue, or like the bridal glue, and they will take a clamp of some sort, it could be like an office supply type clamp, or it could be like a clothes clamp or something like that, but they will clamp it down until it's dry, because you can't just put that type of glue on there over and it's dry. It's just going to pop loose. So you do have to clamp that down some way. But I hope that gives you some ideas, and the video is actually going longer than I thought I was going to go, but hopefully you've picked up some tips. Now, you can either give me thumbs up or thumbs down But if you give me a thumbs down, I would appreciate if you shoot me a little message. They have a place where you can message, and just let me know what you didn't like, if the too much content, too little content, if it wasn't helpful, and why it wasn't helpful, or what I can do to make the videos better or improve. So I guess I will see you later, and I'm going to try to do more videos closer together and not be 2 years. Thanks.